this is the moment when Evan, the 6-year-old son of Paul and Natalie Hemming, unknowingly reveals through his drawing the terrifying secrets that would soon play a crucial role in solving a horrifying murder.
So you heard something?
Yeah.
What did you hear?
I thought it was glass smash, but we have changed the rug because we took the red big rug.
Beneath the surface of this case lies a story darker and more twisted than anyone could have imagined.
Paul, where do you believe Natalie to be?
I have no idea. Firstly, I'm very concerned about Natalie as well. It's been a tough time here.
She hasn't been in contact with her children. She hasn't been in contact with her family.
She was like, when we went back to his house, we kissed and cuddled and he kept trying to go further and further and further. And I kept saying, no, 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 no. So I said, so basically saying you've been raped. She's like, yeah.
It felt like thunder, but it was really loud. Mum was laying down with...
Thames Valley Police, Suzanne speaking. How can I help?
Yes, my love. My daughter's been missing for 48 hours. We have just been up to Milton Keynes to her partner, and he says he doesn't know where she is.
Okay, right. Well, can I take your daughter's name, please?
It's Natalie Hemming, Hemming. It's worrying me because it's not like her.
So, what's the specific concern that's caused you to call the police?
Him.
After a distressing 911 call on Tuesday, May 3, 2016, in Milton Keynes, England, police launched a search for 31-year-old Natalie Hemming, missing for 48 hours. Her husband, Paul Hemming, claimed she went out Saturday night, returned briefly Sunday, and vanished by Monday morning without a trace. With no immediate leads, the police began by searching through Natalie's house for any clues.
Well, physically stay in the areas you're in, go around them, and then let me know as you go round, making sure she's not in a cupboard or under the stairs or in the loft and bits and pieces. Thank you.
However, nothing alarming or out of place was discovered. They then decided to issue a media release to gain wider exposure and gather potential tips from the public.
Natalie has been missing since just before 4 o'clock in the afternoon on Sunday, the 1st of May. She hasn't been in contact with her children. She hasn't been in contact with her family. She hasn't turned up at work.
But one detail stood out as suspicious. Natalie hadn't accessed her bank accounts since her disappearance, a red flag that set off alarm bells for investigators. Further investigation revealed that Natalie wasn't alone when she went out on Saturday. She'd gone out on a date with a man named Simon Dennis. The nature of their relationship raised suspicion. They were caught together on CCTV footage, and Natalie seemed to be enjoying his affection while being away from her husband. Simon was one of the last people to see her alive, making him a focal point of suspicion. His connection to Natalie, combined with her sudden disappearance, painted a troubling picture. Officers scrutinized his every move, searching for inconsistencies in his story. Was he hiding something? Could he have been involved in her vanishing? However, as they delved deeper, text messages between Simon and Natalie began to tell a different story. Alongside messages Natalie had sent to her friends after spending the night with them, police now believed that Simon wasn't the suspect they were looking for. Next, the police visited Natalie's house to question her husband, Paul.
First, I was going to ask, if it's okay with you, is if you can show Becky around the house so she can, basically what she's got is a video camera.
There are 3 kids in bed.
Okay. We'll try not to disturb them.
Because they will wake up. And once she wakes up, I'm not going to be able to talk to you because she's going to cry. Can't be done in the morning, no?
It's obviously, we're looking for Natalie now. Is the torch going to disturb her? Thank you.
So how would you describe your relationship at the moment?
At the moment, it's all right.
At first glance, he appeared to be a loving and caring father, concerned about his wife's sudden disappearance. But what he said next changed everything. When the police asked to check his phone, his response raised immediate suspicion.
Do you mind if I look at your phone?
Do you know how long I'll be without it?
Well, I'll try and get it done tonight.
Okay.
Is that alright?
If I'm honest with you, because so many people have been calling me, like, throughout the day, I prefer to bring it down rather, because if someone calls me, then, like, or if Natalie calls me, or...
Okay, but are you telling me I can't have your phone?
With Simon now cleared, all eyes were on Paul. What was he hiding? Why was he so defensive? The answers the police sought would unravel a shocking truth. His reluctance didn't go unnoticed, and based on this, the police decided to arrest him as a suspect.
Excuse me for a second. Go ahead. He will not let us take it away tonight. He wants to bring it to the station tomorrow morning.
What followed was nothing short of jaw-dropping.
Okay.
The cops weren't sure if his words came from a worried husband or if he knew more than he was admitting. Back at the station, the police began questioning Paul. He appeared deeply upset.
I can see that you're a little bit upset, okay? It's in our interest to help you get through the process.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can get information from you if there's things you want to tell us, okay? So I don't want you sat there in floods of tears, and if you're struggling, me pushing through an interview that's too difficult.
Should I go get some tissues?
Yeah.
One glaring inconsistency stood out with Paul. His phone had been switched off for the entire 2 days Natalie was missing. For a concerned husband, keeping his phone on would be the first instinct, hoping for any call or message from the missing spouse. This unusual behavior raised serious red flags for the investigators, prompting them to dig deeper and gather evidence in an attempt to uncover the truth. A clip from an interview with one of Natalie's friends revealed some new details.
She used to live around the corner from me, so every morning we'd meet up and we'd do the school run together.
Yeah.
You know, she's a very caring person, but he used to make her feel really bad. He just wasn't nice to her. She didn't have a nice life with him.
However, this revelation was just the beginning. There was much more hiding beneath the surface.
And then there was a guy at work called Simon, and like if he went for lunch, he'd get her a drink and stuff. And I could see that she was liking him. Yeah. And I said, Natalie, please don't look for Simon for that affection. You need to deal with Paul because of the kids, and I know how unhappy you are.
With this new information, the police decided to interview Paul once again. This time, he appeared much more composed.
Okay, so it's the 5th of May, 2016, we're interviewing 4. If you can put yourself back to Sunday, just talk me through what you said and what you did.
Okay, so I was just preparing dinner. She came in, the kids came into our kitchen with the glass table is, they sat down. I can't really describe it very well, but she just wasn't herself. I gave her a cuddle and I gave her a kiss here. I was like, what's really wrong with you? And then I gave her a kiss here, and then I was just like doing that on her because she quite likes that. So I was just trying to be a little bit more kind of sensitive is the word for it. She said, I didn't enjoy last night. Wasn't very, like, something happened, and I was like, well, what happened?
However, the details he shared didn't align with how Natalie's friends had described him.
And then she was like, basically, I've been flirting with a guy at work, and which I knew about anyway, and I was like, doesn't matter. We'll just put it all in the past, we'll start fresh. And she was like, when we went back to his house, we kissed and cuddled, and he kept trying to go further and further and further, and I kept saying no, 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 and he kept going a bit further and further and further. And then he made me panic so much that I just gave in. And like, so I said, so what happened? And she was like, we had basically sex or intercourse. I think she like we had sex. And I was like, did you consent to it? And she was like, no, I didn't. So I said, so basically saying you've been raped. She was like, yeah.
This statement made police suspicious of Simon again. But as Paul calmly recounted the events of that night, something felt off. His demeanor was unsettling.
When she told you what happened the night before, how did you feel?
I felt I let her down. That's how I felt. She was like, I just need to get away. And I was like, fine, if you need to do that, you need to do that. That's fine by me. Don't worry about the kids, don't worry about anything. So then I thought, right, I'll go to bed. So I went upstairs, got myself all changed, cleaned my teeth, washed my face, and just went to bed.
And you obviously went up to bed, slept in your bed.
Yeah.
Okay. Woke up in the morning.
Yeah.
Natalie wasn't there.
Yeah.
Put yourself back to Sunday. Natalie's just returned home with the kids. And did you speak to anyone at all overnight?
No.
Did you have to deal with the kids at all?
No.
Okay. And did you leave the house at all?
No.
Okay.
These statements he made would soon prove to be false, deepening the police's suspicions.
This will be the suspect's vehicle. Hemming, Miss So these times are the times that he claims that he is indoors.
Oh.
But his vehicle is out and about, moving. Fortunately, you can't see he's in the vehicle, but he's hitting the cameras. So he's either lying to us or someone else is using his vehicle.
Little did Paul know he was walking straight into the carefully crafted trap the investigators had set for him.
Would anyone else have either used yours or Natalie's car overnight?
Natalie could have used my car, because my car's parked in front.
Yep.
But I can't guarantee whether she did or not. I don't know.
Okay.
The police investigation uncovered a chilling clue. Paul's car had taken a suspicious route, carefully avoiding cameras and police checkpoints. It was the kind of path someone would choose if they had something incriminating to hide. When confronted with this evidence, Paul's calm facade cracked. He hadn't anticipated the police catching on to his movements so quickly.
You've told us that you did not leave your house Sunday night into Monday.
Correct.
Yet your car does leave the house. What was your car doing out at that time?
No comment.
The dots were beginning to connect. The police maintained a friendly yet firm demeanor as they were about to unravel the darkest part of the story.
Can you understand how a picture has started to build for us? We've got a partner who's having an affair. There's marital issues. She comes home. We believe there's a disclosure. Paul, I believe you know something more that you're not telling us, and now is your opportunity to tell us what actually happened that night.
No comment.
The police finally decided to interview Natalie's 6-year-old son, Evan. What he was about to reveal would unknowingly shed light on the dark, heartbreaking, and crucial truth. His innocent words would become the key to unraveling the mystery.
I want you to tell me about the last time you saw Mummy.
Quite a long time ago.
Quite a long time ago?
She left our house at night because she was sick and she hasn't been back for quite a long time now.
Oh, how did you know she was sick?
Dad told us. I heard a and I wondered what it was, so I looked downstairs and then I peeked through the little door and then I saw sick in the bowl.
Okay.
But as the investigation progressed, the story grew even more devastating, revealing layers of heartbreak that no one could have anticipated.
So you heard something?
Yeah.
What did you hear?
I thought it was glass smash, but it wasn't.
The words from Evan's mouth began to unravel the mystery, but it was his drawing of their living room that unlocked far more sinister secrets.
It felt like a thunder, but it was really old. Mum was laying down, but we have changed the rug because we took the red big rug to Daddy's work so I can have a wash.
Okay. So Dad's taken the big red rug to work for a wash?
Yeah.
Okay, so what shape is your living room? Can you show me?
Based on Evan's drawing, police searched Natalie's house. The forensic team uncovered something truly horrific.
We've got lots of spots of blood on the corner of the coffee table. So if you've got the drawing that little Evan drew, and at the end where he's drawn the wet patch on the rug, that corner of the coffee table's got lots of little spots of blood on it.
Traces of blood were found in the boot of Paul's car, providing a crucial piece of evidence. With this discovery, the case took a grim turn. Natalie was no longer a missing person, but the victim of a murder inquiry. The evidence pointed to a devastating conclusion. Paul had likely murdered Natalie on the afternoon of May 1st after learning about her affair with Simon and then disposed of her body. Armed with this theory, the police prepared for one final round of questioning with Paul.
Do you recognise that car?
Yes.
Is that your car?
That's my company car, yes.
Okay. Paul, what can you tell me about the blood in this car?
The blood could either be from myself, it could be from Natalie, because Natalie had access and was insured to drive the car.
Okay. The photo on the front page,
yes,
where there's an arrow, there's a drop of blood.
Okay.
What can you tell me about this?
I do recall certainly Natalie complaining that she'd had cuts. I have had cuts.
I cut myself yesterday, slightly,
yeah,
and it had a little bit of surface blood in it, but it didn't drip. It wasn't airborne, okay?
Yeah.
And that's what these blood drips are.
I do know, certainly in our house, If we cut ourselves on something like that, the first thing we do is, ow. Could that be airborne?
However, Paul's answers were clever and calculated.
Paul, where do you believe Natalie to be?
I have no idea.
He was sly, skillfully denying any involvement, no matter how direct the police were with him.
Can you see the picture that we're building and the concerns that we have?
Firstly, I'm very concerned about Natalie as well.
You don't seem very upset.
It's been a tough time here, and my mind is in my heart. I know she's not dead. In my heart, I know that. I wish Natalie would walk through the door, but I cannot make miracles happen.
But Paul was resilient and continued to deny everything.
You were the last person to see her alive. You say that Natalie returned home to you on Sunday and disclosed to you that she had been raped. Oh my God, amazing, she tells her friend Becky on the Sunday morning. We had sex 3 times. We say those are not the words of a lady who has been raped. We say that Saturday night you were worried about her being out with a guy from work who you knew fancied her. We say this all came to a head on the Sunday night when she returned home and you found out she had had sex with another man and you killed her. Do you have anything to say?
What you're saying is that I have killed my partner. I have disposed of her body. I have tidied the house, made it look pristine, managed to cook them dinner and many more things without them knowing.
That's exactly what we're saying, Paul.
Impossible.
Realizing they were unlikely to extract a confession, the police decided to take the case to the Crown Prosecution Service, or CPS. With the evidence in hand, Paul Hemming was officially charged with the murder of Natalie Hemming.
Yes. The Crown Prosecution Service made a decision. We're going to go through that now with you. Okay? The officer's going to give you the caution.
Okay. Just wait here. Just understand where you are. Paul, you don't have to say anything, but it may harm your defence if you do not mention now something which you later rely on in court. And anything you do say may be given in evidence. Paul, you're charged that between the 1st of May 2016 and the 2nd of May 2016 at 7 Alderney Avenue, Newton Lees, Milton Keynes, that you murdered Natalie Hemming. This is contrary to common law. Do you have anything to say?
I'm not guilty.
Simultaneously, the police intensified their search for Natalie's body following a lead they discovered.
So, it's worth mentioning the background to that. So, the person we spoke to said that she saw a dark
hatchback-ish
car, parts, at what was described as in an odd position.
A double gate.
Close to, which effectively goes towards the railway line.
Yeah. She also said that she saw a man walking up from the railway line up the hill and she thought it was all a bit odd.
But despite their efforts, they found nothing. The clock was ticking, and without the body, there was a real possibility that Paul could walk free. To avoid this, they widened the search area, bringing in more personnel. Everyone who knew Natalie spoke of Paul's controlling and possessive nature, and the police began to believe that Paul's refusal to confess or reveal where her body was might be his final act of control, keeping her even in death. Then, 19 days after Natalie's disappearance, the police received a crucial 911 call.
Police emergency.
Yeah, it looks like there's a dead body beside the road in Chandler's Cross in some bushes. You can see legs. It's got no clothes on, but
right,
I'm a bit freaked out about it. I don't know how long it's been. I've just been mowing the lawn.
I can confirm we've got officers on the way. Are you still outside?
I'm here.
Okay, if I could ask you to look out for the officers and just wave them down, and I'll ask them to look out for you. Okay.
Okay.
After almost 3 weeks of uncertainty, they finally found Natalie's body. It was discovered at Charlotte's Cross in Northamptonshire, about 10 miles from their home.
Okay, we use Nikki as the backstop. You got Nikki? Yeah. Keep coming. You all right there?
Yeah.
Okay, bring her all the way in, and lower, and down. Well done.
Body believed to be Natalie Hemming, isn't it? Yeah.
Tragically, Natalie's body showed clear signs of violence. It had a fracture to the right temple, a broken left ulna, and bruising on her right forearm, confirming the horrific nature of the crime. It became painfully clear that Paul's abusive and controlling nature was the driving force behind Natalie's tragic fate. Unable to accept the thought of her finding happiness with someone else or leaving him behind, he made the chilling decision to end her life, ensuring she would never be free from his grasp.
A jury at Luton Crown Court is considering its verdict in the case of Milton Keynes man Paul Hemming, who pleads not guilty to murdering his partner Natalie at their home in Newton Leeds in May. Her body was discovered in woodland at Chandler's Cross in Hertfordshire.
Paul Hemming's trial for the murder of Natalie Hemming began on October 24, 2016. During the trial, Paul attempted to cover up his crime, claiming it was manslaughter and insisting that he'd thrown something at Natalie unintentionally. However, the evidence told a far different story. The court found him guilty of murder, and he was sentenced to life in prison with a minimum of 20 years. Throughout the trial, Paul showed no remorse for his actions, his cold demeanor further solidifying the monstrous nature of his crime. The tragic story of Natalie Hemming is a chilling reminder of how dangerous control and manipulation can become in a relationship. She was a loving mother whose life was cruelly taken by someone who should have protected her. Instead, his obsessive need for control and power led him to commit an unthinkable act.
Just so glad we got justice for Natalie and for her kids and for Margaret.
That's the outcome we wanted. That's what we wanted. We wanted him to be found guilty of murder, not manslaughter.
What began as emotional abuse escalated into fatal violence, proving how dangerous unchecked toxic behavior can be. Her story highlights the importance of recognizing red flags and speaking out before it's too late.
This act followed episodes of domestic abuse experienced by Natalie at Paul's hands, and his actions have left 3 children to grow up without their mother.
While justice was served with Paul's conviction, the pain of Natalie's loss remains with her family and loved ones. The emotional toll on her friends, family, and especially her young children will be felt for years to come.
Feel no guilt in laughter. She would know how much you care. Feel no sorrow in a smile that she is not here to share. For if you keep those moments, you will never be apart, and she will live forever, locked safely within your heart.
Natalie's story is a stark and heartbreaking warning of the urgent need to keep fighting against domestic abuse. It reminds us just how crucial it is to empower those trapped in controlling or harmful relationships to seek help before the cycle turns deadly. Though her life was tragically cut short, her memory stands as a powerful call for change. A reminder that every relationship should be built on kindness, mutual respect, and the freedom to live without fear.